Hello, team. We are here with our seasonal review, full bag day. And some of my students, they may not feel that they need this review. For them, they get this full bag day, or as we say in Portuguese, o dia do saco cheio, where the people they just don't go to school, and they say, I'm gonna cut today's class. But at least I can only speak for my school. We had senior skip day, which was a day towards the end of the school year where people would say, you know what, we're good, we're done. And I remember once when a friend and I went to Six Flags to ride some roller coasters instead of going to school. It was an excellent day. But for those of you who have not maybe studied and been to all of our classes, I'm going to be doing a little review of some of the topics we saw this season. And the grammar points this season, there were pretty much four. We talked about the present perfect, something difficult for my Portuguese students to use, connecting words to increase your sentence fluency, to make you sound a little bit nicer, give you some more options, questions. I always say questions are your best friend for English practice. Instead of saying, let's practice English and looking like this at your friend, ask them, what did you do today? What are your plans this weekend? What did you think of that movie that you saw? And 2 and 4, which is another specific difficulty for my Brazilian students. So let us begin. Mr. Phil Dunphy, you make excellent decisions. Don't let the alpaca fool you. But here we go. The present perfect. Present perfect. We have three main uses. The first one, unspecified time. And the best way to think about this is, can you answer when? If you cannot, you should have in there. So if I tell you, I have been to Ireland, I have watched The Sopranos, I have eaten a Charlie's burger, all of these things are true, but you don't know when. This is very common for questions because you don't know if this happened, and you know even less if or when it happened. So have you been to Italy? Have you eaten Charlie's burger? Have you watched The Sopranos? It's very common. So if you know when, even a little tiny bit, when I was younger, that time when I was in school, this counts. No have. But if all you know is that something happened or didn't happen, there should be a have in there. It's first. Number two, probably the most famous. When I ask my students, oh, do you know the present perfect? They'll usually refer to number two, which is about unfinished time. Team, I always talk about the importance of your introduction to already start your whatever situation where you're speaking English well. Well, there's a good chance you're going to use have, because this unfinished time refers to something that started in the past and extends until now. I have taught English for over 10 years. I have lived in Brazil for half my life. Um, I have been working on this project. I have been watching this series. We have both options with the ing form, always with a been. I have been watching, I have been seeing, I have been doing. In my experience, this one makes a little bit more sense to my Brazilian students, but you don't need it. You can say, I have lived in Brazil for, I don't know, 16 years. I have taught English since, I don't know the exact date, but I have taught English since 2010, let's say. And one of the best ways to know if you need to use have is with these trigger words. Because I'm talking about something that started in the past and extends until now, there's a good chance you're going to have for 10 years, since last year. Something that started in the past and extends until the present moment. Number three, this one is a tool. With the first two options, they're either right or they're wrong. You're supposed to use them in these situations. But with the third one, it is a tool that you can use to bring something that happened in the past into the present. And I gave this example right here. I've arrived. You know, I arrived. I paid for my Uber. I've rang the doorbell. So it's in the past. I arrived. But by using that I've, that I have, you're saying, there's still something that needs to be done. This is affecting the present. I need you to open the door. It's cold out here. So you can use this I've sound. It's very subtle for non-native English speakers, but you can say I have. You can extend it as well. And I like to give the example of the keys. So if I tell you I lost my keys, go buy new ones. Go make a new copy. But if I say I've lost my keys, I'm saying, help me look for them. See if I left them in your car. So that is the present perfect. We have those three uses. I would say that the second one is the big one. It's about 50% of your uses. The first one is going to be about 35%, and this last one's about 15%. I'm giving you these numbers just for you to know how much effort you should put into each topic. Next up are connecting words. If you go to the PDF about connecting words, there's a big list, and you can pick the ones that you like. I have added a few that I think are important. Also, it's like a flexible and that you can use at the end of a sentence. Oh, also, you can use this if you remember something. I like chocolate. I like vanilla also. So you can use this to add information. It's a more flexible and. Same thing with though. It's a more flexible but. So I like chocolate, though I don't like vanilla. I like chocolate. I don't like vanilla, though. So you can use this in multiple places. It gives you a little bit more flexibility. It's just another option for and or but. While. I like while. While this was happening, this happened. It's great for practicing your ing forms. While I was studying, the door rang. But it's one that I don't hear my students use much. Due to, if you're writing a report, I think in writing it's great to have. Due to this was the result. Due to the incredibly hot weather, people have been using more air conditioners. Therefore, the electric bills have gone up. So therefore is just another good connecting word. But guys, the best connecting words will be the ones you feel comfortable using. These are just some that I think enrich your vocabulary. But any that you say, I like this one. You hear it maybe in a series. You hear it on YouTube. Remember the Youglish. If you want to see how these words are used, if you haven't seen this yet, just like Glish, like the end of English. Youglish is a great website that shows how different words are used in videos on YouTube. Our third grammar point were questions. And questions are important. It's the easiest way to practice. It's the closest we can get to simulating a real English conversation. And at least for my Brazilian students, there's kind of one big difference. For example, here we would say just, you like coffee? Instead of do you like coffee? We don't have these auxiliary verbs. So remember, you need to have an auxiliary somewhere. If you have a to be, it's going to be to be. If you have in the sentence, it's going to be have. But if you don't have any, I like sushi, you're going to add do. Do is the reserve. He's sitting there on the bench here, call me, call me. So if you need an auxiliary verb, it's going to be do. In the past, did. Also, these auxiliaries, they are your cue. They are the word you will use to answer your question. Do you like coffee? In Portuguese, you would say, yes, I like. No, I don't like. But in English, you're going to say, yes, I do. No, I don't. So whatever your auxiliary verb is, you will use it in your answer. The exception, because to be has a different version, was and were in the past, and am, are, and is in the present. Are you enjoying the series? Yes, I am, because yes, I are doesn't exist. Now, not all questions can be answered with yes or no. And with these ones, we need these WH words. Guys, if you're listening to this video, you need to be familiar with them because they will help you. They will be used in every single class. But, whoops. So, here we have one example. Where did you go to high school? You can see that, did you go to high school? Yes, I did. But as soon as you add the where, you can't answer with yes or no. They're asking about a location. So who? They're asking for a person. Remember that. Just like we have our format with the yes or no questions, auxiliary at the beginning, with the open questions, you will have a WH word or how before. Mhm. And our last topic, a difficult one for my Brazilian students. We have 2 and 4. And this is an imperfect subject because English was not developed to help our Brazilian friends. So it's something that it's a specific pain of the Brazilian English students. And I have found these 3 kind of ways of deciding whether you should use 2 or whether you should use 4. And the first one, I think it's the most important one. 2 directs the verb. Almost every time you use 2, the nonverbal would be this. I throw the ball to João. I go to the supermarket. I am looking to the screen. Whatever it is, you can usually do this kind of nonverbal of pointing the verb, directs the verb. Now, four explains the why, the reason, or the function of something. So throw the ball to João for fun. So why are you throwing the ball to João? For fun. It's the reason. What are these glasses for? They are for seeing. So for will either explain the reason, the function. Another way of thinking about it is the why of the story. That's one. Number 2, a quick tip. 2 comes before the base form of the verb. Here in Brazil, many students get stuck at to be. Well, today it's going to help you out. It's going to be a reference. To be, to do, to go, to eat, to sleep, to watch. You won't have to did. You won't have to done. You won't have to doing. It'll always be to do. So 2 together with the base form of the verb. 4, if it comes before a verb, will be in the ing form. Like I mentioned of these glasses, they are for seeing. This is for drinking water. This is for using my computer. Now, you're still confused. You're still not sure. Yeah, John's crazy. Well, we have number 3 as well, which is you can see if you can remove it from the sentence. If I say I go, doesn't really make sense. I need to say I go to the supermarket, I go to the beach, I go to work. Now with 4, you can usually remove it from the sentence. It's usually a little bit extra, a little superfluous, because you're talking about a reason. I am going to the supermarket. Why are you going to the supermarket? For eggs. Went to Rio. Or the example above, when I said I threw the ball to João. If I just say I threw the ball, the image kind of feels incomplete. When I say I threw the ball to João, he pops up, catching the ball. Now, if I say I threw the ball to João for fun, or I threw the ball to João, doesn't really change the image. Maybe imagine us smiling, but it's a little bit extra. So that's your last test you can use. All right. For those of you who did not want to see study hall, we have skip day. And if you haven't seen the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, you should. It's an excellent classic movie. But that is what you will be imagining today. So you're skipping school. You're good. You've learned everything. What would you like to do today? How would you use your day off? Where would you go? What would you do? Who will you invite? That is your challenge. And let me pick one of these to answer. Oh, these are some of the questions that I like. I want to answer all of them. But what incentive would you need to participate in an obstacle course? I would not need incentive. I would not need any incentive. I would love to participate in an obstacle course. If you know of any obstacle courses, invite me, please. I would love to participate. So this is fun. If you are a D&D nerd like myself, you can find out what your character, your class would be, and that's it. Team, another recommendation: Scrubs. It is not popular here in Brazil, but it's my favorite hospital series. They mix comedy together with some sad, serious moments, but it is an amazing TV series that should have received more attention. Team, thank you. That is it, and I hope to see you in class.